I'm Sam.
I'm Ashlyn.
I'm Hillary.
I'm McKenna.
And we're the Good News Pod.
Cheers!
Cheers, everybody. Well, welcome into the Good News Pod. It's here, the December episode. We've been doing this for just over half the year now. We started back in May. We've made it to the end of the year. And there's a lot of exciting things to look back on, but we're also excited to look forward next year to 2025.
We are very excited about 2025 for lots of reasons. One, a fresh start, a brand new year is awesome. It's a great time to get organized, clean out those closets. But it's a very special year for Goodwill Southeast Georgia. It is our 60th year of service. That's right. We were counting on you, Sam. So we are excited to launch an entire year celebrating 60 years of impact and the legacy that Goodwill Southeast Georgia has brought to our area. So we want you to stay tuned as we celebrate with you all year long.
And you'll also hear the stories of people we've served, and that is a really wide range of people. When we were just talking about it the other day, some of the stories we'll be covering, I got really excited just thinking about that.
That might be my favorite part, is revisiting some of those stories and really seeing the impact live.
Yeah, I think it goes to show, too, we always talk about how we help a variety of people, and now being able to showcase all of those stories and the actual variety of people that we touch.
And success can be in many different forms. It can be buying a new home. It could be getting a new car. It could be graduating from college. It could be anything. So we're excited to share all the different ways that people have been successful over the years.
I agree. That's a good point, McKenna.
Awesome. And, you know, one of those people that comes to mind first, as we were talking about, is really some of the incredible leadership that we have here at Goodwill. And we're so excited that for this month's episode, as we're ending out the year, we're so excited to have been able to sit down with our president and CEO, Jason Marshall, and really talk with him about his Goodwill journey.
Exactly. In fact, I think you guys are going to do a great job. So I'm going to step out and let Jason take my seat so you guys can really learn a little bit more about Jason's incredible journey through Goodwill.
Well, thank you so much, Jason, for joining us here on the Good News Pod. We're so excited to have you to round out our first season here on the Good News Pod. So we just wanted to talk a little bit about your journey here at Goodwill today.
Yeah, absolutely. I am celebrating my 1-year anniversary with Goodwill next January, but I've been told you've been with Goodwill in general for over 30 years, and I would love to hear, one, why you stay for so long, why the mission is so important, and I mean, now you're CEO, so you clearly love your job.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you guys for doing these podcasts. I think this is a great way to spread the Goodwill message, talk a little bit more about what we do and how we do it. And gives us an opportunity to really come out to our community and talk about who we are as an organization. So when we talk about my journey with Goodwill, this is my 30th year, just wrapping that up. And I started at Goodwill with the express purpose of getting a little bit of training in supervisory and leadership skills, and then I thought I would jump ship and go someplace else. Looking at it as kind of a career move for me. I was recently graduated from high school when I started at Goodwill, decided that college was not for me at that time. So I jumped in and wanted to gain those skills to be able to make a way for myself. I very quickly learned as a sheltered workshop supervisor. We were working with people in packaging and assembly, individuals with severe disabilities, and helping them find pathways to community-based integrated employment. I fell in love with who we were serving and what we were doing as an organization, and I couldn't leave. And to this day, it's what keeps me engaged. It's what keeps me motivated. It's what makes me excited to lead this organization. We're well known for a lot of our operating units. Our retail stores, our donation collection centers. What people don't realize is that each of those centers operate as a programming unit. So we are providing services within all of the locations where we're conducting operations, helping people achieve their best life outcomes, both personally and professionally. But then we extend that into the community, and we look at our communities in which we operate and give an opportunity for those individuals to use our opportunity centers to gain skills, credentialing, educational opportunities to achieve their personal and professional best. Being able to leave at the end of the day and know that the work that we all do helps somebody to move to a better place in their own life is something that you can't get with every employer, and Goodwill gives that to me each day, and I think to a lot of our team each day, to leave knowing that we've done good and that Goodwill continues to do good in our communities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I agree. I think that's kind of what drew me here as well, is being able to have an impact on where we live. And I know, Jason, you're a resident here of Chatham County. So how would you say, going a little bit further on that, living here has kind of affected your leadership style and priorities here at Goodwill Southeast Georgia?
That's a great question. And, I'm going to take it back a little bit. Recently, I took over as CEO in January of this year. So I'm just ending my first full year as CEO. And at the beginning of the year, we started having a lot of conversation around what we do and how we provide service and who needs us in our community. And we got some information from the United Way, actually, through their report and their ALICE study, talking about those that are asset limited, income constrained, but employed. Essentially the working poor, those individuals that are going to work each day, some of them having 1, 2, 3 jobs, but are still just one financial emergency away from a disaster in their life. And we started looking at the sheer numbers in the communities that we serve, and it made me go back to where I first started with Goodwill. And starting as a recent high school graduate, on the personal level, I had kids very early. So I was a single dad at home, 2 kids. I was one of those people in those income-constrained households. I struggled to pay my bills. I would float utility bills from one month to the next, trying to figure out what would get shut off and what would not get shut off. And through the years, I have, through the benefit of Goodwill, been fortunate enough to continue to grow my career and advance my career to the position that I am today. So when I look at our communities, and I look at the Savannah community, and I look at all of the individuals that are living here and working here, and the opportunity that they have to build for themselves a better life, I go back to where I started. And I think about the fact that anything is possible when you look at the opportunity and are given a chance. So when I look at Goodwill, I say we have the best opportunity as a large nonprofit organization with a strong social enterprise to really enhance lives in a way that is impactful and that is transformational for the communities and the residents in those communities. So, when we talk about, how the community has impacted what I do, I think it's really looking at the landscape and the demographics in this community. It is looking at a community that economically is growing, lots of jobs, lots of job opportunities. We have the capacity and the opportunity to build pathways into careers for individuals, and we have a community that is eager to see that happen. So when I look at how this community has evolved, we're really a workforce development community, and Goodwill is stepping into that role to be a leader in that workforce development space.
As you mentioned, you gave us a little bit of snippet of, how you've gotten here and, how impactful our Goodwill story is. Is there any milestones or memories from your personal experience that really stand out that are also another added, bonus to this is why I do what I do?
There are so many. Over 30 years, I mean, honestly, I could probably go through all 30 years and give you a story or a highlight from that year that has been impactful. And they've both been internal and external to the organization, and it is all about the growth of individuals. There was a time early in my career, I was working as a school-to-work coordinator in in my first Goodwill that I worked in. And we were working with the severely disabled coming out of life skills classrooms and schools. Most of those individuals being told that they would not be able to hold a job or keep a job. And there was one gentleman in particular that was autistic and was nonverbal. Smart as a whip. He could he identified Chinese language. He could tell you he could speak Chinese.
Wow.
When very pressed, but in terms of actual verbal skills to be able to carry on a communication and English language, He completely shut down. And nobody thought that he was employable. And he ended up employed in a Goodwill facility in a competitive job, working and fulfilling that role. And he just continued to grow and evolve and communicate and build friendships. And that's what it's all about. You know, it's seeing the individual that thinks that they can't and helping them realize that they can. And we see it each and every day. You know, the individual that never thought that they could credential in a college certification program, that have gone back into college and found a credential or a certification and have been able to advance. Individuals that didn't think that they could ever own a home, but because of the work that they do and the advancement that they've made in their positions, they're now able to be independent. People that didn't think that they would be able to drive, that get their driver's license and have independence. So there are so many of those stories, both internal and external. And that is the drive that keeps us going, that tells us that we need to do more, that we need to expand more, that we need to touch more individuals' lives, and that the work that we do is important.
Absolutely.
For sure. And, you know, we talk about those pathways to success. You mentioned the ALICE statistics earlier. And, you know, just to dig into that a little bit more, you know, I think one of the areas that we can go into where we also think about things internally is compensation. So as an employer, how does Goodwill approach compensation as an organization?
It's a great question. So, you know, when we look at compensation, we are a very transparent organization. I think one of the myths and misconceptions is that Goodwill is this one big entity that operates across the United States and it's one powerhouse. That is not true. Goodwills are autonomous, which means that we are governed by a local board of directors. We have business leaders within this community that advise and monitor governance and compliance. And that also comes in the efforts around compensation and compensation determination for all levels of our staff, from myself down to our frontline associates that are coming in. We do a couple of different things. We do biannual compensation surveys where we actually utilize an outside firm to assess the market rates for all of our positions, to make sure that we are competitive within the marketplace or advanced beyond what the competitive market rate is, to make sure that we are making strides in that average hourly wage of our folks that are working here. Also assesses that for the talent that we need to run an organization of our size and complexity, that we are compensating the leadership positions in a way that is meaningful and that brings in the talent that allows us to grow and expand and develop. So our board oversees the compensation strategy. We outsource that market study to independent firms that compare us against other organizations of similar complexity and size, and then set those rates, and then we monitor those rates to make sure that we're in compliance. We also have a very strong commitment to continuing to grow our entry-level salary for our associates. So as we look at each year, not only do we look at the market study, but we also look at what is the ability for Goodwill to be able to continue to advance wages, even in some cases above what the market rates are, to allow individuals a greater level of sustainability within the work that they have here. And I think, you know, the community at large has been strongly supportive of the fact that our organization is a training organization. We do a lot of development, a lot of internal growth and promotion. And we also look to promote people outside into external competitive jobs, so that if the money that they're earning here isn't enough to meet that need, we help them find the skills and the credentials and the ability to be able to move on to something bigger and better, and advance that. And while we hate to see people leave, we love to see people grow and advance, and hopefully they become, you know, Goodwill ambassadors for life, that know that we invested in them so that they could have a better opportunity and a better chance.
You mentioned internal growth and external growth, and I think one of the very cool programs that we have here is the Earn While You Learn, or even our Associate Success Program, you know, really digging into our internal growth. And we would love if you could, you know, kind of talk about those internal programs for those that might not know that we do those internally.
Yeah. So, you know, our Earn While You Learn program started in our manufacturing program. For those viewers that don't know, you know, they see the Goodwill store and they think that's what we are. We also have a very large manufacturing presence. Also do a lot of work in the federal contracting space under our Ability One program. And in every one of those programs, whether it's retail or manufacturing or our business services units, growth and development is a primary objective for all of those business units, meaning that we're not looking just at where you are today, but we're looking at your future and your growth potential. So within our manufacturing department, we instituted an Earn While You Learn program. There are several different business lines and areas of responsibility that individuals can learn and be certified in. And we attach to that a growth plan that allows them to move from their base wage upwards of $3 an hour within 6 months of employment, just becoming certified and credentialed in another business line or opportunity within that manufacturing department. We're also looking at career paths for all of our positions, so that somebody that may start as a sales clerk in one of our stores, we want a career path to be able to move into a team leader position or an assistant manager position, and making sure that we have waypoints along the way for individuals to earn more as they learn the skills and qualifications that allow people to get to those positions. So it's been very successful for us. We've seen a lot of growth. We also have, as you mentioned, our Associate Success Program, where we have, I believe we're up to 6 Success Ambassadors now, working throughout our business units that partner with our associates to develop life navigation plans. It is not just about growth and development, but it's also about barrier removal. That's the things that are prohibiting them from being the best version of themselves, whether it's personal or professional. So that may be looking at areas around transportation, around childcare, around housing, food insecurity, a lot of things that get in the way of people being able to look at how do I advance myself when I've got all of these situations and problems. So our Success Ambassadors actually work with them on developing plans, finding barrier removal tools and services that allow them to be able to move forward, take some of those things that are off their mind, that are on their mind, off their mind, so that they can focus on development. I say it, when I try to explain to people, one of the things that I talk a lot about is if we get up in the morning, for a lot of us, we walk out and our car battery is dead. We run in the house, we call AAA, or we call the auto repair store, we get a battery, we pop it in. We might be an hour or two late for work, but we make it work. For a lot of the individuals, whether in our community or in our workforce, that can be the difference between being able to put food on the table, getting to work that day because they don't have valid transportation and they can't afford to fix that car, so it may be missing 1, 2, 3 days of work until they get to that next paycheck. So our Success Ambassadors help them to navigate that and hopefully build some financial security for those emergency situations that take some of the stress off of worrying about the day-to-day, that allow them to focus on the future. So it's been greatly successful for us. I think we've provided over 500 services just through our Success Ambassador program. And then when you start looking at, we will serve over 5,000 individuals within our local community this year through similar services and educational opportunities. Our breadth and scope of service is wide, and we're making a big difference in this community.
Yeah, and it's exciting to see all of that continue to grow, to watch some of those stories happen, and knowing some of those folks that we work with and seeing those results is really incredible. And the great part of that is, we talked a little bit earlier about financial transparency, is that 98% of our programs are self-funded through those business programs that we have. So how does that high level of reinvestment translate into real world impact that we're talking about?
Yeah, so again, I think that as we look at our investment and the reason that Goodwill exists is to empower individuals to achieve their life goals, whether that's through education, skills training, job placement. So as we operate our business units, we do so with the intent of funding the programs that are most important to the communities in which we serve. So that investment allows us to continue to provide services without any strings or subsidies, where we have to look at potential cutbacks or financial cutbacks, whether they be through grants or federal contracts or whatever that looks like. That self-sustaining philosophy of operating business units in support of mission allows us to continue to advance and grow. And our growth in our social enterprise is all surrounded around how we can grow our mission programs. So when you see a new store open, or you see a new donation center open, or you hear about a new manufacturing program, those operations that are coming on board are all for the sole purpose of building additional mission contribution so that we can expand services, we can grow services, we can add new levels of service for individuals, we can move into new communities where we're not currently providing service. So, when we talk about 98% self-funded, that means we're 100% nonprofit and we're 100% local. Everything that is earned here stays here. We give back to these communities through the mission contribution that we build in our social enterprises. And I think that's something that's not well known in our local communities. And I hope people understand when you shop in a store, when you donate in a store, when you become a business partner, you are helping fund mission services right here at home. And you're helping your community and your neighbors be better versions of themselves, both personally and professionally.
As we look at going into next year, our 60th anniversary, what's your vision for Goodwill Southeast Georgia? Anything new coming up you're particularly excited about?
I'm excited about a lot next year. First of all, I am really excited that it's our 60th anniversary, 60 years of service. And yes, you guys should be. You're going to have a busy year next year. I'm excited to talk about all of the years of impact that we have had on this community and the difference that we've made throughout 60 years. I'm also really excited that we're opening some new stores next year. We know we have 2 new stores opening at the beginning of the year. I'm not going to give up too much detail just yet, but watch the news.
Right.
Watch the news, and you will see some new opportunities for shopping and donating coming in the beginning part of the year. We're also organizationally looking at ways that we can expand our mission footprint, how we can do more, how we can provide different levels of service. How we can be really the conduit and partner for a lot of barrier removal services, to be able to come together and in a transformational way make an impact in our communities that leads people from a job to a better job to a career. So we've got some big mission initiatives next year to expand our mission footprint, grow our mission impact. Some of that is local, and some of that will be through our rural communities. So very excited about as we continue to build out that plan, announcing that. And then I think I'm very excited, for the continued growth of our team within this organization. As we grow our team, that gives opportunity for new individuals to join our team. As we exit people into new positions and new careers, it gives opportunities for new people to join us, gives us new innovation, new life, new excitement. So I'm excited for a lot of things next year. It's going to be an exciting 60th year for Goodwill.
Yeah, that's for sure. We do have a lot of big and fun plans coming up. Well, as a leader, Jason, is there any piece of advice that you've carried with you throughout the years?
I think probably what I am always pulled back to as I look at being a leader is we have to remember the why behind what we do. And as a leader, if you can keep reinforcing your why, then you can continue to grow and you can continue to develop. As I told you earlier in the podcast, it is about the lives we change, the impact that we have. And through the greatest struggles that you have as a leader, through the greatest struggles that you have in any position that you're in, if you can take a moment and sit down and think about those 1 or 2 things, those whys that brought you here, and then think about the impact that it's had on others, it keeps you well grounded and keeps you focused on the task at hand. And the second most important thing is remaining consistently available and approachable to your team and making avenues for every person within this organization to feel comfortable sharing and expressing their opinion, to bring forth their concerns and talk about what their concerns for the organization are. And we spend a lot of time in that effort of really making ourselves accessible and transparent to our team. And I think that keeps us grounded well in why we're here and why we do what we do. And I think that's probably the most important thing as a leader.
So to wrap up, Jason, we've hit you with all the hard-hitting questions. So we figured we'd give you an easy one. I don't know. He might not think this is easy. But what's maybe a fun fact or something that you could share about yourself, maybe a favorite hobby that people may not know about you?
See, these are always the hardest questions. They always are the hardest questions for me. Fun fact. So I, for many years, and some people know this, some people don't, I spent a lot of time early in my career on the stage. I was a choreographer for a high school music program for a good number of years. And then I directed musicals. So my son was in 6 high school musicals, which I directed all 6, as well as some community theater. So I spent a lot of time on stage, both with adults and children, being able to, and the creativity that comes with that, I think is also an outlet. And some of the brain power behind being creative at work. The arts are so important to really developing individuals' creativity and keeping people well versed in being able to put out there what you want to get back. So I spent a lot of years doing that, and so lots of people do not know that.
I definitely didn't.
I don't know. I think Jason just opened himself to some new video ideas.
I know. I'm already circling.
I have retired my dancing days and my directing days for something bigger and better, which is Goodwill.
I don't know. 60th year, all about legacy. We might have to make a little callback for one of our commercials.
Yeah, you never know what could happen.
That's so funny. Well, thank you so much, Jason, for joining us today, for getting to share with our community a little bit about who you are, who we are, what we do, what's coming. And like we've been saying this whole segment, we're really excited for what's next, and we can't wait to be a part of it.
Well, thank you guys. Again, I think the opportunity that we have to really spread our message in the communities, you guys are doing a great job getting us out there, making sure that our story is told. And I think it's helpful both to our associates and to the community at large to get a better insight as to what's behind Goodwill. Mm-hmm. And, they see so much of the front facing, but understanding what kind of goes into operating an organization of this size and complexity, the level of talent that you guys bring to the organization and so many of our associates bring. We are who we are because of our associates, and our associates are what make us the organization that we are today. So I'm very thankful for you guys, very thankful for the entire team that we have to work with here, and appreciate you giving us the opportunity to spotlight that in the community.
Awesome. Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, I always love hearing from Jason and learning a little bit more about just how far he's come since he started at Goodwill.
I think it's also great too. We have an open concept in our office, and being able to sit next to your CEO without realizing the story and then hearing his story.
He's got an incredible journey, and he's got such great vision as we head into the 60th year and all that he's kind of brought to the table as a leader. So it's always a great time catching up with him. I'm sorry I missed him.
We'll have to have him again soon, Hillary. 2025, we're getting him back on the podcast. Well, as we go into I guess we're saying at this point the holiday season
is
here. It's here.
Happening
this year's
now.
Been going so fast, it just seems crazy that we're finally here. But we just wanted to take some time to remind you again that here at Goodwill, taking care of your donations and making sure that they make the most impact in our community is very important to us. So we just wanted to put out a friendly reminder that all of our donation centers and retail stores are closed December 24th and 25th for the holidays. Not only to allow our associates to enjoy time with family, but you as well, all of our listeners and our community. We thank you so much for those donations, but we please ask that during those closure times that you hold your donations for the holiday. And let's talk about maybe some best practices about kind of returning back into the fold after the holidays if you've got some donations.
Absolutely. We are so incredibly grateful for everyone who chooses to generously donate to Goodwill, as we know the impact that each of those items make right here in our local coastal Georgia community. So when you're going through after the holidays, making room for new things or just simply getting organized for the next year, please consider making sure that you're donating during operating hours so that we can take the best care of your items that you're trusting to us, but also make sure that you are donating items that you would want to purchase if you found them in the store.
Awesome. Yeah, those are really great tips. Thank you, Hillary. And again, we'll be open back up on December 26th. So we look forward to seeing you then.
And we hope you have a fabulous holiday with your family, however you choose to celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And going forward into 2025, Hillary talked a little bit there about cleaning out. You can look forward to some great tips for us about staying organized, cleaning out, how to best kind of go through that process. So just a little teaser for what's coming up ahead in 2025.
I'm going to need those tips.
Same. I have a lot of organizing to do.
Same.
And doing.
It just always sneaks up on you after the holidays. Like you get everything together,
Yeah.
get all that stuff done, and then it's like, wait,
What
where did all
happened?
this other stuff
Yeah,
come from?
I blame
Yes.
the raccoons.
Yes. So we're providing those tips for you, but we're also doing our research is what it comes down to.
We are implementing those same tips.
That's right. That's right. Well, it is time for our final segment. You guys may know if you've been with us, we always do the last word where we kind of reflect on our favorite Goodwill moment from the past month. But since it is December and it's our final episode of the year, I think we should open it up a little bit. What's kind of your big takeaway from the year, or it could be something from the last month, kind of summing it up for us.
Well,
Go ahead, Sam.
so I'm actually celebrating, well, I will celebrate it in January on the 9th, my first full year at Goodwill.
Yay!
So,
What did we do without you?
yeah, it honestly feels like I've been here for years. I love my team and I love this organization and all of our coworkers. And honestly, the biggest takeaway I have from just being here is I've learned so much and I felt like I've grown so much as a person and through my career. So I keep saying it and I'm not going to get emotional, but this is definitely the best place I've ever worked. And that is my takeaway, is just how great it is to learn and grow with you lovely ladies and everyone who works with us in the office.
Oh, we love you, Sam.
Awesome. I had my November
She did not tell me
already.
to take that.
$30 after this podcast.
$30.
Thank you.
Oh man. Well, I guess I'm next.
Sorry.
There's so much. I know recently kind of we as a team had kind of talked about, maybe even thinking of a word for next year. And so I've kind of been reflecting on that a little bit. And I think my word has come down to engage. We have really built so much awesome momentum as an organization over the past couple of years. I've been with Goodwill now since March of 2023. So be coming up on 2 years next year. And just that time, it's been really cool to see all the new opportunities developing, how our mission arm is growing, how our retail arm continues to grow. So I think really being able to continue those strong connections that we have in our community and to continue to build, to educate folks on what really all the Goodwill mission has to offer. I think we have a really exciting opportunity, especially with our 60th anniversary. Just really looking to engage and seeing where those conversations go is what I'm excited about for next year.
That is a really great word when you look at the next couple of years.
I love that word.
Me too. Okay, I was prepared for November, not for the entire year. But looking back, I think one of the things that's most exciting is the opportunities that we've had this year to kind of take lots of new chances and do things, shake it up a little bit. I think, we've had a couple of new signature events that we've added. And I love that we, as an organization, have been able to be innovative and demonstrate that innovation across all business lines and all opportunities. And I think it's been really fun to see things kind of come to fruition and really see the results of efforts across the organization, like our formal wear event, like our, Southern Tier thrift crawl. It's just been really great to see these new ideas come to life because of everyone's vision and purpose.
I agree.
So exciting. For me, I guess I've only been at Goodwill for a couple months now, but I totally agree with Sam. This has been the best team that I've ever worked on. I've just learned so much about Goodwill in general. I came in, I I knew about the retail store and everything. I knew some about the mission, but working here and getting to see people every single day come through the Opportunity Center and get the help that they deserve, and get the chances that they deserve is just so powerful, and it makes me emotional. I cry up every now and then, like at our events. I'm just tearing up because I get to work with so many amazing people and hear all of their stories, and it just motivates me to be a better person. So
We are so glad you're here.
Yes.
It does not feel like it's been months.
No, you were the missing link.
The missing link.
Yeah, I'm so happy to be here.
It's been a good year.
That's right.
And it's only the beginning.
Very true.
2025 is coming soon.
Yes, lots more coming. Stay tuned. Also, thank you for your viewership. As Hillary mentioned earlier, this was one of our brand new journeys for this year. We've had a great time with it. Learned a lot along the way. So
Still learning a lot.
Thank you for holding on with us and being a part of that journey. We hope that throughout all this, like we say at the end of our episodes, that we've brought a little more good to your day with these episodes. So here's to 2025 and all that's next.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you next year.